Welcome to my channel, The Magic of Java. This is an extract from my first book, The Green Queen from Java. It's a novel, it's a tale, a yarn intended to entertain you. Yes, it does reflect my experience of falling in love with Indonesia, my experience of falling in love with an Indonesian lady, and my increasing awareness of the paranormal and black magic. Or some might like to say my descent into madness, but it is just a novel. Any resemblance to real people is completely unintentional. Yes, it's based on my experience, so yes, it's based on people I've met and know, but amalgams or caricatures of them. I do mention real people and real life celebrities and hope that they, along with anybody who believes they've identified themselves, will forgive me. I think Maddie was genuine when she told me that she would never use another Dukun, but she was also getting fed up with the constant attacks. They'd gone on for nearly 3 months now, completely dominating our lives, and Maddie was tired from constantly fighting. Only a week had passed when Maddie showed me videos of the celebrity Dukun and Dukun to the celebrities, Ki Pramawa. They were awful, containing people dressed like Sinitron ghosts, designed to frighten, which I knew to be far removed from the Fortean, or at least the paranormal that had been revealed to me. Perhaps predictably, it was Limar who persuaded Maddie to visit Ki Pramawa. I say predictably, as Limar always seemed to be working against me and my wishes. Nevertheless, I knew she was a good friend to Maddie and always encouraged their friendship. Limar's negative outlook and constant complaining about men also provided a source of amusement to Maddie. Many years previously, a boyfriend had given her enough money to buy a small house in Tangerang, Banten, where the rest of her extended family lived. But Limar rented a cottage in Block M, where she would spend her days all alone, convincing herself that her current boyfriend was no good and that she needed a new one. But none were ever what she wanted, as she really had no idea what she wanted. Miraculously, by the end of this episode, Limar's bully boyfriend proposed to her and is sending her a generous allowance. And she has told Maddie how lucky she is to have me. Maddie blamed Limar's former use of crystal meth for her confusion, and certainly she found it hard to concentrate on anything, even simple things like whether she was going to stay in Tangerang, Banten or Block M, or remembering to post a letter she had clutched in her hand. When Maddie bought a video of a Pa Ustad saying, "Say no to drugs," I commented that it showed Limar forgetting about things, which even she thought hilarious, although immediately forgot about it. Incredible though it seems now, Limar had briefly been in our frame for our attacks. Neither of us believed that she would do anything malicious, but she gets so confused and puts so much faith in Dukun, she could be talked into anything. Whilst Maddie and I are led by our hearts, with me paying greater attention to post-decision rationalisation, Limar is led by her head, leaving her heart in the hands of the Dukun. In fact, Limar often told various Dukun about Maddie, who always wanted to meet Maddie. Maybe it was just to find another customer, or just maybe they knew something about Maddie that I believed was already becoming apparent to me. In his publicity, Ki Pramawa claimed to be a Dayak, the feared headhunting tribes of Borneo. Although he was young and handsome, with long hair and dressed in a goth style, he certainly looked Dayak, although perhaps more like a Dayak female who are noted for their beauty, rather than a Dayak male, who are not generally considered handsome. I knew that Dayak were thought to have very powerful magic. My worry was that Maddie was so fed up he would persuade her to use black magic against Paerte. Also, the obvious showmanship in Ki Pramawa's videos and the completely unrealistic depiction of ghosts concerned me. I felt that it was more likely to be a stage musician than a Dukun. But my underlying concern was that Frank had warned me that Maddie should not visit another Dukun. I was adamant that Maddie should not go, but her mind was made up, and as I have indicated, when something happens, there is no stopping her. Limar called for Maddie, and they left on Limar's motorcycle, so I couldn't even join in and watch over Maddie. They were gone for over half a day, despite Ki Pramawa living in the next neighbourhood to our home in South Jakarta. Apparently his home was full of people from all over Indonesia waiting to see the celebrity Dukun. When Maddie returned, she was full of what had happened. It had clearly been very moving. Also, as I say, Ki Pramawa is very handsome, and whilst Maddie really doesn't like Indonesian men, she was undoubtedly attracted to him, put in handsome by his profile on WhatsApp. Maddie explained to me that Ki Pramawa was a Muslim and that the consultation had started with prayers which immediately didn't ring true for a Dayak, who tend to be officially classified as Hindu or Christian. What happened next was all very dramatic, but ended with Ki Pramawa capturing a gin in a bottle. He then asked Maddie if she wanted the gin burned. She echoed my concerns, but Ki Pramawa reassured her that the gin was evil and that unless killed it would return to her. So rather dramatically, the gin was burnt in the bottle, shown to me in a photo of the gin's blood staining the neck of the bottle. Maddie seemed totally cured, and the consultation had only cost $150. At least that's what she told me, and we regularly gave $200. However, if it were all true, Maddie had killed a jinn, and whatever Ki Pramawa had said, this had to be wrong. Nothing rang true to my knowledge and experience, but I was learning, and I still am, so I cast aside my doubts. My biggest doubt was that genuine Dukun never ask for money. It is the recognition and respect that they gladly welcome instead. So we simply pass some money into his palm as we are leaving Sukrela. The next day, when Maddie was as bad as ever, I asked her to slowly tell me what had happened. After praying, Ki Pramawa had done something to Maddie's eyes, which made her close them. I suspect she'd been hypnotised. This was not the first time. In Block M Plaza, the more upmarket mall opposite Block N Square, she had been hypnotised by a man who stole her gold chain in full view of other shoppers. Next, Ki Pramawa had sprayed something onto Maddie's body, which was hot and uncomfortable. I suspect a mild acid. I now know it to be fluid used for staining mahogany, and this was confirmed when the clothes Maddie was wearing developed holes and had to be thrown away. Ki Pramawa said that the jinn had wanted Maddie's gold bracelet and it was best to burn it. He then grabbed it from her hand, wrapped it in paper, and it exploded before Limar and Maddie's eyes. "What? You let him steal your gold bracelet?" Maddie told me it was a present from Steve and had cost $200. Of course, this was to make her and I feel better, so I didn't question it. Nor did I question it when I found that he'd also stolen a gold chain and had attempted to take her wedding ring. I subsequently read that Ki Pramawa was born in Jakarta. Of course, he still could be of Dayak parents, but that would explain him being a Muslim. It's probably also explains that the whole thing was an act, much like the videos Maddie showed me of him, with no relationship to the reality of ghosts and possession, and certainly not to Dayak magic. When we told Pa Angabaya, there was that same knowing smile to me. Ki Pramawa had also attempted to sell Maddie and Limar some rose quartz batu, which he claimed contained a jinn, at massively inflated prices. Indonesians believe that batu, referring to semi and precious stones, but analogous to New Age crystals, can contain souls or jinn. Ki Pramawa's behaviour greatly upset Pa Angabaya, who wanted Maddie to recontact Ki Pramawa, but Maddie wanted no more to do with him. I think Pa Angabaya had a mission to expose such greed and deception, masquerading as a Dukun. After all, it gave Dukun a bad name. I guess two good things have come from it. This was Maddie's first and only attempt at fighting fire with fire, as it were, and it was a fraud, so her soul, batting, is safe. It has also taught Maddie the lesson she already knew but didn't follow, and that is not to use Dukun, as most Dukun are Dukun Palsu, false Dukun. Since I had been able to find all of Ki Pramawa's most spectacular tricks available from stage magic shops, this has convinced Maddie and even Limar of his duplicity. Well, I hope you enjoyed this chapter. By all means, feel free to comment on it, including criticism, as that's the only way I can improve. Now, I really do hate it when channels keep badgering you to subscribe for them, but I suppose it does tell you when I'm going to post new chapters. I'm aiming to do this every week to 10 days, so it might be a good idea to subscribe if you want to. But thank you again for listening.